Hello, and welcome to Retro Rank Rhapsody. This episode, Only Trust Your Fists, in which we look at the history of the brawler subgenre. As one episode a week, we will be taking a look at various different brawlers for the month of May. Here, I figured it would be nice to just take a look at the kind of what games spawned the subgenre to begin with, and where we can kind of, trace your roots. So, with that, I hope you enjoy this episode. Let me load up the first game then. Remember which one? There. Okay, so this game is just over here. Gotta wait a little bit. Oh, thank you for the sub again.
I'm sure it'll help.
So this is Kung Fu Master.
Oh boy.
It is as you see here, a 1984 arcade game. This has been called multiple things. In Japan, it's actually called Spartan X, which I believe is based on a Jackie Chan movie. Which is weird because this actually has nothing to do with that movie and is more akin to the Bruce Lee film Game of Death. Where basically you're going up this giant pagoda. Each level, the pagoda has a dude on it that you need to kill. So
Yeah, I remember when Bruce Lee got hacked to death in the film. Real messed up.
yeah,
It was real brutal, my dude.
yeah, that's yeah. Also,
Isn't bad that I can't look at this game without thinking of that entire Natraps X or whatever it's called.
No, it's completely understandable because all I can think of too.
yeah, because this is probably more. This is the arcade version, but this is probably more well known for the NES thing. Oh, thank you for the follow. This is more known for the NES port of it that was just known as Kung Fu. So, yeah, we're Thomas and we gotta save our girlfriend Sylvia from Mr. X. Okay. So we got a kick, which is longer range, and I think just as fast as the punch. If you punch people, you get more points. Also, if you let them these guys touch you, they hug you to death. I don't know why.
Because they're killing you with kindness.
I guess. Oh, there's knife cut. And this is also a up to jump game.
They just hug too good.
Hello.
This is like my stream avatars on stage when people are just hugging everybody to death.
Oop, I think I might be getting echo. Oh, there was our first boss.
Ah, that sends nice laugh.
Yep, got. I will get past this first stage.
And yet here we are. I don't believe you.
Well, the problem is I'm actually streaming, so that's the problem.
The streaming curse, I see.
Yeah, also, doing that with a D-pad, trying to shake them off with a D-pad kind of sucks. Unless you want to really hurt your thumbs.
Well, you call this the Dark Souls of brawlers.
No.
Good. Just checking.
Well, don't forget.
Damn it.
Don't forget the jump kick has more reach.
Yeah,
The best part about the hug, though, is it gives the other enemies time to come and hug you, so once you get the first one off, you got the second one on you already.
Well, yeah, but you can hit those multiple guys. Like the two guys coming up behind him, he could jump kick and hit them both at the same time.
You can also do that with a normal kick, too.
No, but I'm saying when he's caught in a hug already.
Yeah. The problem with the jump kick is that
get good.
I mean, yeah.
Because like the hug guys have a bad habit of chaining hugs.
And don't forget, you also have a punch.
Yes, but the thing is that the kick seems to do more range and is just as fast.
Yeah, why punch when you can kick?
Well, the punch sends a message. Also, it's probably easier to punch the throwing knife than to kick it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that guy does low damage.
Okay, you know what? We need to at least see the next stage.
Just come back from the dead, sure. Whatever.
And this is the arcade version too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the best
Okay,
version.
so here we go. Ah, God.
Well, you can actually punch the dragon before it breathes fire.
Oh, okay. God damn it. Alright.
I see you're recording a tool-assisted speedrun.
Yes, this is I want to at least show off more than one level. So that
Please don't
I'm not
talk
just
about me like that, Bear.
God. God.
But this game is like really wild.
Yeah, it's got
Just-
some tricky design.
Tricky is a
Also-
nice way of saying it's a dick.
Are you killing children?
They know what they did. I don't know what they did, but they know what they did.
So I believe there was a Game Boy sequel to this game.
There was also an NES sequel of this. I know for sure that there's an NES or sequel. God damn it. Well, actually, it depends on how you think about it, because there's been a couple sequels to this.
That one last guy. And the numbers on the back wall are a nice touch too.
Yeah, tell you how, because there's 5 pillars for each stage.
Let's try the next floor.
Yeah, there was a Kung Fu Master game for the Game Boy. I remember distinctly playing that.
Oh, yep. God. Oh,
Now, what's really weird is when the guys jump to land on your head, if you stand up at just the right point, it headbutts them.
okay, I'm gonna have to try that. God damn it. Okay, mine. Okay. Oh, right there.
Yep. This game has tech.
Well, let's go. God.
I believe in you, Lolo.
Damn it.
I mean, I believe in save states and rewinding.
Yeah, exactly. And he's using them.
God damn it. Also, this is an up to jump game, so trying to hit an angle is sometimes not great.
Oh, gross.
Okay, this should be the
Up to
boss.
jump his ass.
I'll hit Scream Ultra Bar. Ow. Okay, you know what? I think I gotta end with that. Just kick me out of the stage.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't know how you're gonna beat boss 4.
There is... Yeah, so that's the one puzzle boss in the game, where if you try and kick it, it will just... Yeah, basically his head kind of flies off. Okay, you know what? We're good. We've seen
No,
it.
that's really good, though. This game sucks.
Absolutely no damage scaling. It's just like stacks up all enemies.
Yep. Although I got the high score.
Yeah, not bad. On 1/4.
Yes. That...
1/4. You never died.
Yes. All right.
Well,
so
yeah.
yeah, let's get.
He
to
never died.
Let's get to the ranking of this. God,
Crap.
there. Okay, so These are brawlers are all going to be on the resistance thing, so we're going to be using the resistance list.
You're resisting to play them.
Yes. So I would not say that this game is better than Super Star Wars.
This game has aged incredibly poorly.
Well, it's your review.
It's your list.
Do you think it's better than...
I know I would rather play this than Super Star Wars, but that's just me.
Would you rather play this for a length of time than Super Star Wars? Seeing what Lola just dealt with.
Super Star Wars has a lot of, like, is even more repetitive than this game. And it's got that 16-bit era thing of we have to walk all over the map and fight the same stages over and over again. I mean, you didn't even see him do Chewbacca and the Death Star. The amount of health that tractor beam boss has is ridiculous. You could find an LP of someone sitting in the corner for 10 minutes holding down the fire button where it can't hit him, but it takes 10 minutes to take out all the health.
That is true.
I mean, I think I'm going to sound like such a snob when I say this. There's a lot of techniques in Kung Fu Master that put it on that kind of Mega Man or Castlevania level, where if you play it for a long time, you'll learn where to do the jump kicks and where to do the stand up and how to punch the dragons when they fall. And eventually you could master this in a way that I think would actually be fair.
But that would also be a level of time and dedication that we're not talking about here.
Right. So if you'd rather play Super Star Wars because you think it's more interesting, visually and story-wise, I could see that.
Or actually, how about this? Are they of the same caliber?
No, this is better.
I would say Kung Fu. Kung Fu Master, I think, is a better game. Whereas I think Super Star Wars just leans way too heavily on platformer crap.
No, that too.
Okay, so I can see that.
I know. This game has aged very poorly, and I will disagree with what you said about it being like Mega Man or Castlevania kind of level thing, just because those are much easier to pick up and play and do perfectly fine your first time around.
I don't want to get into a debate on this stream.
I said easier.
I don't want to open that can of worms on this stream.
Okay,
it is a low stream.
I'm gonna like phrase myself a bit better. I would rather play Kung Fu Master for the NES than Super Star Wars for the SNES. I think that arcade
I would
version.
100% agree with.
Arcade version is a bit on the harder
It's
side.
an arcade version is the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, you will eventually, after you defeat the first 5 levels of Kung Fu Master, you'll be done. So,
yeah.
there's something else.
You can it is in the game to loop it, but
right.
I don't think you'd want to. Then again, you wouldn't want to do Castlevania again, but that's just because that game's a lot longer too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see this being better than Super Star Wars, but it is not better than Castlevania.
I would agree that I think Castlevania has a bit more to offer.
Okay, so this is episode 2. That was 1984. That was an Irem game. Oh, not good. Let me put my hand on the keyboard right. That's for the arcade. Now, I think I have a brawler sub. Yep, right there. Also, it doesn't really have tone. Does this even... It technically does have a soundtrack to it, but it's the one song repeated over and over, and that is barely technically a song.
A single track.
I mean, that's pretty common for that era, so it's more like it has a thing. It just has a...
It also has interstitial songs.
I mean...
At the very least, it doesn't make me want to fucking claw my ears out after hearing it for a while.
It is serviceable.
Yeah. I'll put a C.
And then that's all you can ask for, especially for like a game as old as this.
It's definitely on message. Like, it feels appropriate.
Did this game build up its world in a good way?
It had a world.
You have
its setting is fine. Yeah, no, it sticks to its setting.
Okay. It has it has a setting that was expanded in the Japanese parody of it.
Yes. Yes, Nat Trap. That if Nat Traps was a game, that'd get an A. But this is not Nat Traps.
Extended universe.
Extended universe is not canon per Disney.
Look, if Toho can pull that off, so can Kung Fu Master.
But yeah, at the very least, it has a visual theme with its setting, and it sticks with
Yeah,
it.
it's not bad.
No,
It's just there.
it's set dressing.
Would it kind of, let's see. So does this kind of trying to phrase this. Does this kind of, is it built to be as like basically what needed to be built, or do we think that it kind of built more than it probably needed to?
No, it does what it sets out to do. It is perfectly serviceable.
It was a very successful quarter muncher in its day.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think the structure of it is like it's not innovative, but for that period, it was pretty fresh to have like a unique boss on every floor.
Yeah, especially for 84, because bosses weren't really a thing until probably a little bit later.
It's also it's really doing that thing where there are unique enemies, and then it's doing, that's why I compared it to Castlevania, the same enemies will come back, but in different patterns. I mean, first you've got the tall guys, then you've got the knife guys, then you've got the tall guys, people size, and the knife guys, and it varies their patterns up to the point where it's, you already know what these guys can do, but now you have to deal with it, and I think that's, that's why I compared it to that. I think it's very good at doing that.
Okay. But that's kind of the problem with starting with something old, is that it was like, oh, it did of its era. Whereas if we're taking a look at something a little bit older than, or newer, then we can say, well, these kind of games have existed before, that we can,
I guess the thing is my main point of comparison is that the Shinobi was, I think, 87, so this is like 3 years before that. So it's kind of like comparing it to Shinobi. It feels like, Shinobi's a massive jump, but Kung Fu Master still has a lot of like good ideas, even for that time. That's just like kind of my impression of it. I don't know 84 in gaming that much.
So maybe we put it a B. I don't know if I'd call it an A, because I still think it's a little rough in some spots, but
Relative to its time, though, it's solid.
Yeah.
Also, I would say it's actually a higher, like, I don't think it's crucial to play this, but I think if you're looking at, it's a definite point in history.
Yeah.
So.
No, I can completely get behind that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also,
punch and kick buttons.
I'm going to say that this game's A. Well, maybe not D. Maybe it's aged. It's aged, definitely. But probably not as...
It's simple enough that it's still perfectly able to pick it up.
Yeah. Also, I'm just gonna... I'm gonna put D because it's more difficult, but it's still not as, like, super difficult.
I think you could beat it in a couple hours with infinite quarters.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, it's purely by virtue of it just being really short.
Yeah, so... Yeah, okay, so yeah. That's Kung Fu Master. So let's look at our next game. And it's going to be something similar, but not completely similar. In a way.
Oh boy. Now I'm curious. Please tell me.
This is... Karateka.
Yeah!
Specifically the Famicom version, because I don't feel like figuring out which computer to do this, so I'm just going to do it on this one. Because I think it is, well,
It does have the faithful opening though, right?
Yes. Here. Okay, so let's start out. So this is a Jordan Mechner game, which Jordan Mechner is really big into like rotoscoping. So like all the animations are all smooth, and you can do that.
Yes! So good!
Yeah. I was on a talk of his where he explained how the entire rotoscoping process worked, and it was ridiculous. Like for this and for Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I mean, the whole process he went through, was amazing. Like taking out a loan from the fucking bank.
Yeah, from what I understand, what he did was he would take like a loan and he would buy a device that could convert video footage, like VHS, to digital.
Yep.
And then he would do that in one sitting and then return the device so he could get his money back. And then he basically drew over the footage to get all this. But because he was limited with memory, that's why we have so many enemies that are basically like the main character, just with different heads or things like that.
Different torso usually, yeah.
Wow, they've simplified Akuma's outfit and they removed the Heron Gate.
There is definitely a gate still in here.
Well, but I mean that opening gate's supposed to be the Heron Gate, and it's not. It's just two poles.
It's amazing how much cinematic sense this game has for something like made in fucking 84.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, is that the animation quality on this is stellar.
Once again, it's Mechner in general, though.
The entire moment of just now where you had the camera switch between you and the enemy approaching you, that's very, very forward thinking for a video game.
Yeah.
Right.
Also,
well,
one thing I should mention is so me running and going into stances. That's actually me controlling that. So if you hit down to go into your fighting stance, up to kind of go into your running stance. The thing is, you do not want to be in running stance if there's a person on screen, because if you take one hit while you're in the running stance, you will die instantly.
Right.
Also, should I spoil the ending? You brought that up.
I don't think we're gonna see the ending of this.
So in the end, when you're saving your girlfriend or fiance or whatever, if you approach,
we'll see that in the cutscene. That yes, that is. Well, actually, I think right. Oh, nope.
Stop your death.
Whoops.
Yeah, if you approach her while in the fighting stance, she will one-hit kill you.
She kicks you in the face, and it's great.
Yeah. You have to approach her in non-combat stance.
Yeah, if you were doing some of the speedrun techs, you might have been able to get in there before this guy came out.
Yeah, but yeah. Also, one thing that I think with that, it's basically because the way that the animation is, I think that also might just be an animation thing, because isn't it? Basically, the animation is just you running into your arms and swinging. Oh.
Wow, the NES is not forgiving at all.
Wow.
Okay, let me. Maybe. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there's an infinite number of guys will come out.
Okay, now. Oh man. This beautiful pink getup.
Also,
yeah,
as you can probably tell,
go ahead.
combat's a little simple.
Well, you can kick in 3 different areas, right? You can kick high, medium, and low, right?
Yeah. Except it seems like, I don't know, maybe the computer version is a little bit more, not competent, but, yeah, I think I found a tactic.
Yeah, see, in the computer version, the longer you held the kick button down determined whether you did a hard kick or a fast kick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think both Combat in this and Prince of Persia is very automated. Not in terms of it does it for you. It's more like it looks really nice, but you're not pressing too many buttons.
I mean, yeah, well, because originally it was built for one-button controllers.
Oh, right. And also, since this is a Famicom game, yeah,
you have 2. But there's also each fighter does have a unique style of whether they prefer to do, what sort of kicks and punches they prefer, and some of them you can figure out their techniques because they can only do certain. They'll do a pattern and then you can move in and nail them. There is tech to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it's based on each room, because these guys definitely have a pattern.
Oh yeah, oh my god, near the end of the level there's 5 kick. There's a guy who can do 5 kicks in a row. He's the only guy who can do it. Everyone else has to stop at 3 or 4.
Also hearing that thing. God damn it.
Fucking bird.
What a dick!
Bird is the
What?
worst.
He flies by so slow.
Goddamn pet shop.
Also, for those wondering, there is also a official sequel to this game, which I don't remember being like that good. I played it a bit, as in like a full 3D game, even though it's on a single lane.
It's kind of a remake because it's done with Joe Mad, where you have 3 different guys. So each time you die, you get a different guy to play with.
Yeah, you have like 3 characters, and then if the first one dies, you play the second one, and the best ending is, if you beat it with the first guy.
Right. I didn't know if we were going to see that one.
No, not today, but yeah, that's pretty much what Karateka is like. Basically, there's more guys that you fight as you go on. They get a little bit more complicated. There's a gate that can very easily kill you. But yes, so I think that is. Oh, let's do this properly.
Whee!
All is as it should be.
Oh, God damn it. Alright. Okay, so yeah. I would say this is probably better than Kung Fu Master, or actually better than Super Star Wars, and also better than...
Yes.
I
yes
would
to
not-
both.
I don't think I would say that this is better than Castlevania. Oh. Okay, stop running.
Well,
Okay.
Well, it's very hard for me to compare the two because it's like so different in a way, but in terms of what I would rather play, Castlevania is definitely the more approachable one
Yeah, I
because
think a lot of this is mostly which one would you rather play?
Yeah, because it's much easier. Like a bad platformer is much easier to play, or rather, an aged platformer is much easier to play than an aged brawler.
Yeah. So I would say Karateka 2, 1984. Oh, jeez. What was this?
Mid kick forever.
Would that be 2.5 since you said it's about Kung Fu Master?
Oh, right.
What's up?
2.2.
No, he missed the ranking.
No, he was asking.
God, developed. Technically, the port was done by. Oh no, it's a Broderbund game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Broderbund.
Yep.
Broderbund. That is an NES.
I mean, that's how Prince of Persia eventually became an Ubisoft thing because Ubisoft bought Broderbund and thus got the rights to Karateka and Prince of Persia.
Yeah. That is actually kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one definitely doesn't really have a soundtrack. It has that little stings, but I don't know if I'd consider that.
Those would not count as a soundtrack. Oh.
There's also I don't know if it's in the NES version. There's an opening musical cut, and the cutscenes have music over them.
No, that's what we just heard. We've heard basically all the music in the game. Well, not all.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say actually for the world, since they put like, I think he actually went a little bit like of effort into like trying to build up the story and all that. So I'm gonna actually put that at least as a B. Problem is we don't have we haven't looked at a game that has a really stellar like world design, but
yeah, because the game has extremely basic world design because you can see like the only thing that moves in the background are like those freaking posts or whatever because they didn't have tile flipping or any of the NES type scrolling for the platforms they're on, so it's extremely simple backgrounds.
And also more just the plot and the way that it tells the story through like how like its direction is also I think really good.
Right, instead of like the NES Monster Party or walls of texts, this is another one of those games where he said, look, we're going to film this like a silent movie accompanied by music. So people are just going to point or they're going to like hang their heads or something like that. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to avoid language altogether, which is unusual.
Also, also required at the time.
No, you get it on wall of text.
Well,
yeah.
I suppose. So yeah, I would actually put that as an A for craft just because of all
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wouldn't settle for less. Like that tech at the time, how it was done, and just how it turned out was really, really good.
Yeah, Mechner was surprisingly savvy.
Yeah, and once we get like at least probably 10 into a list, I'll start actually thinking about S's. But this is definitely the most viable contender for that right now. But yeah, Impact, I would.
It had a massive cultural impact.
Yeah.
Like it's like the only thing that had more of an impact that comes to mind from that era is Prince of Persia, and it's just like slightly more.
I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah, so age. I do think this game's aged quite a bit though.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Oh, I would, as much as I love this game, yeah, I would trash it in the age category because it's a single button brawler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For even the two buttons, it's not. Yeah.
It's a single button brawler where your choices don't matter.
You didn't even, and the tech that's in it, like you didn't even show off that you can bow to people before you fight them.
The problem with that is that I can't figure out how to do it.
Cowards aren't worth honor.
Yeah, you have to go to the standing setup and you have to do a button press. No, it is not aged well. I mean, I will totally agree with that.
And
they're not worth honor.
I would say that for touch, I mean, it doesn't go out of its way to help you, but it's not that super hard of a game though.
I mean, it's very simple once again, so it expects you to be able to pick it up.
I'm always thinking of those NES games that are like you start scrolling to the right and birds attack you and drop.
I mean, we did get attacked by a bird, and it was a dick.
We did get attacked by a bird, but it also made a chirping noise before it even showed up on screen.
No, but I'm talking about like where dogs attack you and people attack you and throw like everything in the world wants to murder you. The Rambo Flamingo death. Whereas in this game, it's like we're in a karate temple and you fight karate guys, and every now and then a bird comes out and attacks you. It's so understated that I think that works well in its favor.
Yeah.
Some dickbag bird. What the fuck?
Yeah, karate guys and one bird.
Who does that?
And you see the bird before it comes out. The bird's perched on the big bad guy's shoulder.
Yeah, and then you whip like a dipshit.
Oh, also, I just want to point out, right? Oh, I think it's going to stop, but I like the Met hat corner that I had with the avatars.
I love my Met hat. Also, who's the piece of shit that's imitating me? I need to kick their ass.
I'm just hiding under my head in the corner.
All right. Let's see. That's Karateka. Let's see. Oh, right. So, with this next game, we actually get into the games that we actually gonna see the proper brawler genre kind of being formed. Like think of things like Final Fight. This is not Final Fight. This is a game that why don't I just load it up? Also, this is Nekketsu Kouha Kunio-Kun. Oh, this is a game.
You found the original and not the English remix.
So yeah, so this game actually, when it came over, this did come over stateside. The thing is that this is a very Japanese game. So when they brought it over, they kind of made it more of a Warriors kind of thing and called it Renegade. Which it didn't have quite the effect. It was just kind of a more generic kind of thing. This is a very interesting game. Why don't I just go ahead and start?
I will always appreciate how much attract modes always suck.
Okay. Also, I think I need to turn it up a little bit. Also, I need to remember not to rewind because it will break the game.
I've never actually seen the original. I've only seen the ones with the super deformed characters.
Oh boy, you're in for a treat. So yeah, every level starts out with this guy getting beat up. I forgot what his name is. I believe it is Shinsuke. But yes, we are Kunio. He is from Nekketsu High School, and he needs to kick everyone's ass.
So this whole high school hooligan Japanese thing, is that rooted into like some movie series or something else, or did Kunio-Kun just started, or like a manga series? I don't know.
There was probably some influence, but I can't tell. So this game is an asshole. I'll just go ahead and say that. This is very much in the. There's kind of a subgenre of brawler that is what I refer to as the exploit or get exploited brawler, where basically you need to do the one move that won't get you hit, or else they will they basically know exactly what your hitbox is, or like they will time it so that you have almost no time to react. Like you have no room for leeway.
That sounds familiar.
So in this game, that is this jump kick, which the problem is that they can avoid it. So, but just to kind of show off, we do have a punch also, so we can attack in 2 directions. So your attacks are, so that's also, there is a punch left button and a punch right button, which changes what you do depending upon what direction your character is facing. Not even what direction you move, it is what character the sprite, or what direction the sprite is facing.
So is it like punch left, punch right, kick left, or?
No, it is punch left, it is attack left, attack right, and jump.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Okay, so now that we've killed enough of these dudes, the bosses come up, and that is Ricky. Which is interesting because usually Ricky is at, so as Bear alluded to earlier, this game spawned a whole bunch of different other games that sport a more super deformed style. There are a couple that have a style more akin to this. But yeah, River City Ransom is probably the most famous of them.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, the most I've seen this like in local game or Western games was River City Ransom.
Oh, God damn it.
Also, wasn't this whole like style an offshoot of Yankee?
Yeah, kinda.
I was gonna say, like, River City Ransom, there was, I think Dodgeball is also in the Kunio-Kun universe.
Yes, so there's River City Ransom, Super Dodgeball, Crash and the Boys,
and there's like a soccer game, or football if you're European.
Yeah, I believe it is Tecmo World Cup is one of the Kunio soccer games. Because not only are there a bunch of brawler games, there's also a bunch of sports games too.
Yeah. Like, it's definitely one of those weird games that, like, from looking at this, it has a horrible, like, game, like, base game, but it probably just had enough staying power to spawn the whole franchise.
Yeah.
What year was this?
87, I think?
That's at 86 on the front screen.
Okay, it was 86.
I was gonna say, if it's 87, you definitely had better choices for brawlers, but the 86, maybe not. Oh god, voice clips.
They're that delicious level of tinny.
My favorite anime phrase.
The funny thing about this boss is actually, if it's the character who I think it is actually the character who is most commonly the player 2. It's Ricky.
Maybe they become friends. They're like friendly rivals.
Okay, there we go.
But like, you're asking where this came from. I'm pretty sure like the hooligan style. I'm pretty sure it's just Yankee.
Well, because here's the thing. It goes through gang style, so now we're fighting a Bokosuka game. And since we're fighting a Bokosuka gang,
Look at those powerful squats.
Yeah, also that.
Jesus Christ.
Also note the chunky frame rate.
It's really good. This game is not great, Molo. I'm sorry.
I love.
Go ahead and say this game is horrible. Like, this game is terrible. There is no redeeming qualities of this game other than the style.
So did that car on top just drift over the river because there's this entire like middle section?
I don't know.
Like it looks like it looks like it drifted out of the river and just left the trail.
Also, there's
When you drift so hard, you drift over a river.
I don't know exactly how to trigger it 100% of the time, but you can actually like if someone's down, you can actually like climb on top of them and just punch them.
Yeah, I saw it in the attract mode.
The thing with doing that is a very good way to get hit in the back.
I
Well,
appreciate
just like
that
real
when they
life.
knock you over, they just jitter at you.
Because they're trying to get at the exact pixel that you can't hit them, but they can hit you. Also, you can knock them into the ocean.
I was about to ask that, yeah.
Like that. The problem is you can also get knocked in the ocean.
Okay, but what the fuck was that sound effect?
I got an extra life.
No, the splash sound effect.
Okay. Let's see if I can also...
Terrifying Shinji.
So the thing is with the bosses is that, kill the boss, you kill everyone. They'll run away.
Like cowards.
Good. I enjoy the clear influence this game had on Yakuza.
So now we're finding a Sukuban game.
Damn right we are. Hell yes.
Oh wait, I saw that character in the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, so this is a
Yeah.
this is Mizuguchi, who is she is a recurring character in other Kunio-Kun games.
I just appreciate that they're using fucking chains on your ass.
Chains in person, chains in backpacks.
Are you able to hit the boss before
No,
they decided to? It would be interesting if you had like some kind of speedrun tech to go with the boss.
No, she's
before.
part of the background now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Everything I find
appreciate
is-
that they can knock you out of the air with their book bags.
Here's the thing. Mizuguchi is an asshole because she has that running move, which she can do at any distance, and does like 2 bars of health every time it hits.
It's hashtag iconic.
God damn it.
There's like no wind up to it too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, also she keeps on
God
slapping me.
damn it! She's having none of your shit. Holy hell!
Oh, it's Mitsuzu. That's what it is. Also, she taunts you when she kills you. Really, any boss does that. What's gonna be great is because I highly doubt that I'll actually be able to kill her. She is, as you can tell, a nightmare to beat. So we don't get the escalation for the next stage, which is the last stage. So you go from fighting a Sukuban gang to fighting the Yakuza.
Nice.
They have knives.
Nice.
They have
Wait, does that
knives.
mean they stab your friend?
Yes.
Oh
First
god.
gets stabbed and he's like, oh, I'm out. The thing is that those knives do half of your health in one hit,
I mean, yeah, it's a knife.
if not outright kill you. The thing is,
I mean,
the boss, Sabu, he has a gun.
nice.
Not nice because you get hit once, as you can probably expect since it's a gun, you die instantly.
Oh,
Does it
that's
let you
horseshit.
Does it let you continue, or is it just like, nope, you're dead? Like, you no continue even.
It's a lost life.
Okay. So what about the 2 icons of the other guys in your corner? Is that like who you've beaten, or
Yes, that is who you've
can you select them?
Nope, that's who you've beaten. So the thing is also, it also shows what loop you're on, because as you beat them in further loops, you will, they'll stack behind each other, like cards.
Ah. You might
You
want
don't
to
need
kill.
to always do the jump kick.
That is the safest way of doing it.
You might want to kill the ad.
Oh,
Too
Never
late.
mind.
no.
Just immediately get shoulder tackled in the ass.
Rip.
Get fucked, Lola.
Yep. Okay, so I think. Oh. Whoops. I thought that they would loop around. It did not. But yeah, that is Nekketsu Kunio-Kun. It is not a good game.
It's decidedly not good.
Let me also make sure that it does that. Okay, so yeah. I would say that this is the lowest on the list so far.
Yes.
Because yeah, this is not saying anything about the other games in the franchise. Nekketsu Kouha Kunio-Kun.
Queen.
2. Oh, also it's doing what it needs to do. Good. 1986. That is by Technos. Soft. Hey, the franchise itself is great. It's just not this game.
If you really love the franchise, you'd love it in all incarnations.
Oh!
Also, I'm going to say that this game has a somewhat edgy tone.
Yes!
Yes.
There's a gun!
Triple X. Can't believe this game is Vin Diesel.
F!
Soundtrack is I mean, it wasn't I say E, it wasn't like destroying my ears, it was just boring.
It wasn't cacophonous, it was just grating.
Yeah. Also, I will say though that the story world buildings, like the character design's neat.
You can't go wrong with that Yankee bullshit.
Yeah,
it is really good character design, or world design.
Yeah.
There's a reason that sort of thing gets used a whole lot.
I would argue
this game is designed to be an asshole, so it is not going above an E.
I would say that the world is probably the thing that made it have the staying power it did as a franchise.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And once again, Impact, I would say at least a B.
Yeah, because it is the game that spawned the Kunio-Kun franchise, which, yeah.
I'll say, like, we have to view the Impact, like, on the Western side, mostly, because I have no clue how impactful this particular game was in Japan.
It was
like, even though
it was incredibly influential in Japan.
Yeah.
Because there are at least 20 games in the franchise.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, it could also been that, like, this game didn't, like, fare well even in Japan, and then it's one of the sequels that made the impact. That's what I'm saying.
Because I have a DVD that is the one. It was in a 2003 survey of the top 100 Famicom games, and I want to say the NES port of this was like in the 30s.
Ah, okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
So yeah, also this game aged incredibly poorly, and is incredibly difficult. Also, I'm just going to go ahead and say, let's christen this. Our first in the red.
Also, I really hate the source of Kunio's name.
Isn't it one of the developers?
It was the president of the company.
Yes, that's what.
Kunio-Taki.
Yep. All right. Okay, so with that, there is a good thing, it's not just the good thing that this game did actually spawn a different franchise. It actually had a lot of impact on a different franchise, also developed by Technos, which I will load up right now.
Oh boy.
One that
there's a reason.
I would say one that is actually maybe even a little bit more popular than the Kunio-Kun franchise, but maybe not as well known today. Although there was a remake of it recently, well, relatively recently.
I'm not excited. I'm curious.
So this is Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So This is it's a Technos Japan developed it. Data East had some involvement in it. Because you see that car right there? That is actually a reference to another Data East game called Road Blaster, which is a Laserdisc game, actually. So, yeah, a little bit of trivia there. So, let's just go ahead and get started. So this...
I will forever...
So, yeah. There's her girlfriend, Marion. She got punched. We gotta go get her back. Okay. So this actually does... it's a lot easier to control than Renegade, but you can kind of... Or than Kunio-Kun. It kind of feels a little bit similar, but a lot more... a lot more polished. You now have a punch and kick button. And also it is, you know, attack in the direction that you're moving. I have not played Double Dragon Neon, but I've seen someone play Double Dragon Neon.
It is better than it has any right to be.
Yeah. It looks pretty good. So... Yeah.
It also has a Jake Kaufman soundtrack.
Yes. So yeah, here's one that not only is so for taking a look at like the history
that looks awful.
The thing with this is very much where you can see like the traditional brawler just kind of start. Also, here comes a Bobo. Also, not only is it the plane a little bit like moving left to right in a plane, kind of a lot similar to other brawlers. You have like the pick-upable weapons. One thing that's in this game that I don't think a whole lot of other games have, or brawlers have, which is that any enemy can pick up any weapon, except for a Bobo. Bobo doesn't need anything else. He needs his fist.
Yeah, a Bobo's no fucking coward, that's why.
Whoops.
Get fucked!
The only weapon a Bobo will use is your body.
So yeah, also, we are... Oh. I think this is Billy? And
Yes.
If this does have 2 players simultaneous, where the other person will play as your twin brother, Jimmy. Also, that guy has a knife.
Oh, that clang at the knife. Oh, so good.
So...
Yeah, it's pretty good.
This is kind of the other, probably more famous of the what I consider to be exploit or be exploited. It's a lot better than, say, Renegade. Oh, I didn't realize you could do that.
What?
Ooh, nice tech.
Oh, goddammit.
I was like, cat's fucking huge.
So, you don't just have a punch and kick. If you combine your punch with your is it? Oh, it's a double tap to do a headbutt. Close. So you actually have some other moves if you combine your attacks with a jump. You do, you can do a back jumping kick, which will face you like if it will face you the other direction. Or more importantly, you have this move. Also,
yes, the mighty shoulder.
Also known as the I win button. The I win attack, other than me dying when using it.
You're flawless. God damn.
Okay.
Was the entire moveset ported onto the Famicom version?
I can't remember because I'm not super familiar with that version. So yeah, if you press jump and punch at the same time, you have to do it properly. That elbow is basically the AI does not know how to handle it properly, so they just walk straight into it.
Okay, well, but can you get 50,000 points in Double Dragon?
I don't know why.
Oh, you haven't seen the Wizard? Yes, it is. You got 50 points in Double Dragon? How did you get 50 points in Double Dragon?
Oh, also.
Oh god, this
Damn, it
track.
looks real good.
This track is really good, by the way.
Oh god. Oh yeah, also it's just flopping down. Oh god.
Oh, you actually hit him. But But yeah, that's more like there's 3 mainstay Double Dragon games. There's Double Dragon Neon, and I believe recently we got Double Dragon 4 by Arc System Works.
Double Dragon 4, which is
I haven't heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's not that good.
Which is weird because I think the original creators were involved.
Yeah. It is also meant to be more like the NES version, or because the NES games actually deviate a little bit from the arcade games. Like I'm pretty sure Double Dragon 2 on the NES has like an extended platforming section.
It's also very interesting to see how this franchise, how it's interpreted in hindsight by the West and by Japan, because like if you look at Double Dragon 4, that's pretty much going back to basics, but if you look at Double Dragon Neon, that's basically oh god, that noise.
My fucking ears.
If you look at Double Dragon Neon, that's more focusing on the 80s aesthetic of it, rather than like trying to remake it.
Well, that's also Double Dragon's weird from a Western standpoint because there were several reinterpretations of Double Dragon.
Yeah, there was the fighting game, the movie, Double Dragon and Battletoads.
So the thing with that actually that's weird is that yes, there was a movie that was based on Double Dragon. There was a fighting game that was on the Neo Geo that's based on the movie. That game went and spawned a pseudo sequel by the same developers of the Double Dragon arcade or fighting game. Well, the SNK or like the I think it was Playmore that made the one that's based on the movie. They didn't have the license, but they wanted to make a new a sequel to it. So that is where the game Rage of the Dragons came from. And after that, Rage of the Dragons would go into a they would make appearance in a completely different fighting game franchise as the Playmore would work on a sequel to the Power Instinct franchise of fighting games because Playmore ended up making Match Melee.
Oh God!
Yeah, so there is a Billy and Jimmy analog in Match Melee,
Fuck!
which I
Actually, had no clue about that.
I cannot wait to get to that franchise. But that is a completely different thing.
Hey!
I'm actually not familiar with that franchise. I'll need to look it up.
Power Instinct is a really weird franchise because it's actually it was first developed by Atlas. It's basically a fighting game about this giant family. And like the main antagonist is this grandma that's like she like shoots your dentures out at you and like smothers you with kisses as like a grab move.
Oh, that game.
Yeah.
Now I know what it is.
But also going back to Double Dragon, that is not the only Double Dragon fighting game because there was actually, and also that Double Dragon 4 that came out was actually the second Double Dragon 4 because there was a Double Dragon 4 on the Super Nintendo. Also around the same time as that game came out, there was a Double Dragon animated show, which then got turned into Double Dragon 5, which is another fighting game. Which that's also not getting into the differences of Double Dragons 2 and 3 on the consoles.
Also, Lolo, you didn't even mention the best Match Melee character. Well, Power Instinct. Poochie.
Yeah, Poochie's great.
Poochie!
There's a lot of good characters. Well,
They really are.
also the best thing about Match Melee is the soundtrack because if you were just to listen to it on its own, it's just a bunch of weird Japanese songs. But they're really good sounding.
Good job.
God damn it.
Flawless. Perfect. Astounding.
God.
I'm not even gonna blame you. I'm not even gonna blame you for that because that's as bullshit as it is in like Golden Axe and every other brawler.
Yeah, God. Measure.
That's a fucking elbow lingers.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that they can run into it. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and say that after the stage, I think we've seen enough Double Dragon.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Because I forgot there's actually more games I was planning on looking at.
Yeah, there are other games, right?
Yeah, let's not turn this in.
It's not just Double Dragon to be ranting or railing about the weirdness that is the franchise.
Oh yeah, let's not turn this into another Darius stream.
Yeah,
please.
yeah, I'm gonna try not to do that.
It was okay the one time. I mean, Bear, you still weren't there for Radiant Silvergun stream, so.
I mean, we've only gone an hour so far, so
I know, I'm just saying.
yeah, I'm gonna try and keep it a little bit shorter.
Well, let me tell you.
Also, yesterday went kind of long too. But that was only 3 hours, not 4.
Yeah, also that was the inaugural episode.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, yeah, gosh, lol, do you have to like stream so long?
To be
Like,
fair, we were super into Radiant Silvergun the whole way through.
Also, we were looking at 5 other games beforehand.
Oh yeah, Boba does pick up a weapon.
Oh,
Also, unlike Darius, Radiant Silvergun is constantly changing.
I think I also have to end it there. That's how it's just gonna end.
Just murdered by double a Bobo.
It is a perfect analogy for what we've been doing, which is going off a cliff. Also, I did not mean to close out Retro Arch. Whoops.
Retro Arch.
Riptro
Okay.
Arch.
Okay. You know, I'm going to stay close for a second. Okay. I would say Double Dragon's actually really good.
Yeah. Still holds up somewhat.
Yeah, so let's see. Also, because I haven't sorted it yet.
I would rather play than Karateka. I would still rather play Castlevania.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's where I draw the line.
Going to get into smaller and smaller increments. Oh, not. No, so this is not Castlevania. This is Double Dragon.
Never won a Castlevania brawler. Actually, no, wait, I don't.
Yeah.
There was a fighting game, a Castlevania fighting game. I remember that being not good.
Judgment with all the character designs from the fucking Death Note, dude. It was so terrible, and I love it. I love the fucking awful art.
I should probably do that for December this year.
You should do it for December.
Yeah, yeah. Also, by the way, one other thing we didn't mention about the Double Dragon thing is that supposedly that was supposed to take in a post-apocalypse.
Yep, Ivy mentioned it in the chat earlier.
Oh, whoops.
Could have fooled me. It looked like a regular day in the 80s.
The soundtrack for that game is pretty good. I would say it's above average.
Yeah, I'd give it a B.
Yeah.
Sure.
World building, it's definitely neat, and the characters are designed. Well, so I'll go with that. Give that a B as well. And they learned there is definitely a lot to it, so I'm also going to give that a B.
Doesn't play like dog shit.
Yes. Impact.
Very big impact.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Yeah. Age, I'll actually give that a stretch.
Yeah, I'd say C. C would probably be solid. Gameplay is fine. Not amazingly. It's definitely aged, but it plays perfectly serviceable. It looks not complete shit.
And touch, I would say it's not terribly difficult. Also, it doesn't, but it doesn't go out of its way to be simple. So, C. Okay, so next game. Now we're going to start getting into the more canonical, or more what people would consider to be brawlers. By the big one.
Fighting Force.
Fighting Force.
Oh.
So... Wait, where? I thought I had... Oh, there it is. So, this game.
This looks like a Capcom font.
It is a Capcom font.
Oh no, could it be? Ah, the Ballad of Mike Hagar.
Yes. So yes, former Street Fighter, which is actually very important to this game. So, yeah, in 1987, Capcom released the original Street Fighter. Also sometime in the 90s. This is Mike Hagar.
Just remember that time that two strange Japanese girls helped him grow up to the man he is today?
I don't know what that's a reference to.
Pop Team Epic is a magical show.
Oh, right. Right. So yeah, this is Mike Hagar. He's the mayor of Metro City.
A wrestler turned mayor.
Yes, yeah, so going back to Street Fighter.
Oh man, these faces though.
Yeah, Capcom released Street Fighter in I think 87. This was originally going to be called Street Fighter 89, but this is not. This is Final Fight.
Yeah, this was gonna be
There's
the.
no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was gonna be the Street, like the sequel to Street Fighter 1, like as
Yes.
they interpreted, because they thought, oh, like they didn't realize that fighting games were a thing, but then they changed this
Yeah.
for the better, I think.
Okay, so that's actually a little bit more simplistic because you only have one attack button. But if you walk up to someone, you can just grab them. Oh. Gotta get that napkin.
See,
Man, a napkin.
I haven't played this much, but I played Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which is in the same engine as this, I think.
Yes. This
Let's look at all these men to pile driver.
So this game's kind of, well, also for, you know, being probably the game that popularized this kind of form of brawler. Added one key mechanic that is in mini brawlers, which is the panic attack, where you'll basically, it is a really high priority attack that will deplete some of your health, but at the same time be an area of effect attack.
Does it have the thing where? Does it have the same thing, the thing that some have, where if you're in low health, you can do it infinitely?
I don't know, actually.
Because that's something a few games did. So like, oh, if you're like a sliver away from dying, you might as well just spam your super.
I don't think it does.
A little bit of trivia. I believe that the PlayStation 3 version of this game, because there was a Final Fight port, had always online DRM.
That's
Oh boy.
Right. It is that game, and also here's our first boss.
Ah, damned. I like that it tells you the name of the people you're beating up. It gives it more personality.
Yes. Also, when you come in from a fresh life, you will always do an area of attack. It's kind of nice.
Just drop in from the heavens.
Yeah, that's actually pile driving from Valhalla and slamming Odin into the ground.
Oh,
That's what creates the AoE.
Actually, no, that's not who. That's not the more prominent of that kind of enemy type. I believe that is Roxy. There we go. Yep, that was Roxy.
Yeah, that's Roxy, yeah. I really hate that you never had Mike Hagar in Street Fighter because they had Zangief and they never want to put in the second grappler like that, but we have fucking Guy and Cody.
I mean, how many Shotacons Shota clones? There we go. There's the person I was thinking of.
Yep.
There's Poison.
Yeah.
Which,
The entire back, like, you could do an entire video just on that character.
there is plenty of videos.
People have done it.
I have seen videos entirely devoted to Poison. And whether or not, yeah, basically.
Well, yeah, do the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, basically the thing is that I don't know if it's Roxy as well, but Poison is in a lot of a lot of the lore that came out from Capcom. That Poison is actually transgender. And there's a video that I forgot what it was, but basically going through all the different kinds of. Oh, also this. Yeah, but basically going through and going through all the backlog to see, like, okay, is that just a localization thing, or was that like, was that in the original? And it actually turned out, yes, it was. Except, unfortunately, they have kind of gone back and forth about whether or not she.
Yeah, it didn't help that they changed it in the English version.
Yeah.
Of things.
So when the ports of this game were actually kind of weird, specifically for the Super Nintendo, because the Super Nintendo didn't actually have enough RAM to have all three characters in. So there was actually two versions of the original Final Fight on the SNES. There is Final Fight, which let you play as Cody and Hagar, and Final Fight Guy, who let you play as Guy and Hagar.
Wait. Like two separate game releases, or like you buy a cartridge and it's one of the two?
No, they're
What?
two separate game releases.
And that's the only difference.
I believe it is.
That sounds like proto Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah, except for this is definitely memory. Well, granted, I'm sure the Pokemon thing was also memory, but yeah. Yep. Whoop. Trying to get chat up so I can see it. So, yeah, we're not going to be seeing the entire game of this, but suffice to say, even though it didn't end up being Street Fighter 89, a lot of the characters ended up in the Street Fighter canon, because I believe Final Fight takes place in the Street Fighter universe are in the same universe.
It is the same universe. So, Guy, Cody, Poison, Rolento, Hugo, they're all in Street Fighter games.
Yeah, especially the so after Street Fighter 2, after they decided not to make any more versions of Street Fighter 2, they made Street Fighter Alpha, which had a lot of Final Fight characters in it, including the boss that we are about to fight.
Oh, right. Yeah, him.
Also, one other thing about the ports of this game, there was a lot of changes to names and clothing, like Roxy and Poison were wearing more conservative outfits. Damned name got changed to something, I forgot what it was. But I know this character, not quite yet. The character that we're gonna fight, whose name is Sodom, was changed to Katana.
There's also in Street Fighter 5 they released. I don't know if he's in a Final Fight game, but he is a member of Mad Gear, which is the name of the gang you're fighting.
Who is it?
Let me look at his name.
I think I know the character that you're talking about. I do not believe he was in a Final Fight.
Abigail.
No. Oh, actually, maybe he was. Also, here.
Oh, he is. He is the penultimate boss of Final Fight.
Oh yeah, Lola was the The history of poison thing, was that the video by, I think, Megaton Stammer?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this boss sucks.
No, this is hilarious, though.
I like that you can pick up his sword,
Yes.
and then he just quickly grabs it back.
This is also very much a get in the right hitbox.
Are you even lowering his health?
Yeah.
Nope.
It becomes a very slightly, because that wasn't something they added into later games where, it's,
Oh, you had multiple health bars. Yeah.
it's multiple health bars being represented by the color, which is a
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, I believe in later games what they did, and I know this was definitely in Calyx and Dinosaurs, if they had multi-health bars, so for example it was like on green, you would see the yellow in the background as the green was depleting.
yeah. But also that's, yeah.
Also, chat, if you have never watched the Battle of my Kagar, please do it after the stream
Definitely do it.
Yeah.
It's really
on
good.
YouTube.
Also,
Yeah! Fucking love to beat up random ass cars.
Nice.
Yeah, fuck that car. That's how I feel. That's how I definitely feel.
Does this have that cutscene thing? No. Oh, it does. Yes.
so yeah, that,
Why did you beat up some fucker's car anyway?
I don't know, but yeah.
I think he was a Metal Gear member.
Yeah, that is Final Fight. So
It's a real weird, real charming game.
yeah. Let's see, where were we put? God, you know what? This needs to get sorted real quick.
Yeah, this is getting ridiculous already because it's just so small.
Okay.
There's a lot of dense information.
No, it's also the method of numbering only worked when we had a massive list, like with ranking of shmups.
Yeah. Well, there. At least we have a
beautiful rainbow.
yes. So also, why is it? Why are you bold?
Just fuck you.
So yeah, I would probably put this. Let's see.
I would put it over Double Dragon at the very least.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Episode 2. This was 1989. Yep. By Capcom. For the arcade. It is a brawler. Oh good, it's gonna do this until I fix that. Soundtrack's there. I don't know if I'd say it's really good.
It's enough to not drive you insane, but other than that, it's not particularly notable.
And the characters are well enough designed.
I mean, there's a reason that they moved on past this franchise.
Actually, what do we rank Double Dragon? Yeah, I'd say the same as Double Dragon. There's some questionable elements, I'd say, of this. So I'd probably give this either a C or B.
I'm leaning more towards B.
I give it
It
a
has.
beta.
It is very. It very much has for its time like the death of a fighting game for a brawler. In some ways.
Impact.
A.
Yay.
Yeah,
Age.
I'd say give it a C. Yeah.
And touch. probably a C as well. That's not.
Isn't that hard to get into?
I wouldn't say it's that hard to get into. But yeah. So, Final Fight, when it... Oh, and I might as well let you do this. Final Fight, when it came out, was probably the big, like, oh, hey, this is now a subgenre. Much like Street Fighter 2 was the big fighting game, Final Fight was kind of seen as the thing for brawlers. So other companies decided to join in on the fun. Also, certain companies to help, as this was kind of you have these set characters fighting a whole bunch of bad guys at the same time. Kind of made the subgenre work as a kind of really good place to have licensed games. So other companies took that and ran with it. Like this one, for example. If it loads. Please load.
I believe in you. You can load.
At least one of us believes in him.
Okay, let's just do this. There we go. So this game's going to introduce itself. Actually, you know what? Yeah. So this is a 1989 Konami release.
Oh.
So this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hate this.
Oh god, my childhood.
Oh Jesus.
So yeah, 1989. That was right around the time that the cartoon was started. And yeah, right. This is Leonardo. He leads. I don't
16?
know.
What?
Yeah, well, they're teenagers.
They're teenagers.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Go.
So this is actually, I'm using the Oceania version because apparently this is the only region that had when this game came out, normally for the US and Japan, it was a 4-player cabinet. The thing is that it's one of those cabinets where it's player 1 is Leonardo, player 2 is I think probably Michelangelo, but it's each slot has its own character. So I need to do a 2-player, or else we're gonna have to play as Leonardo. So let's put in some quarters. So which turtle should we be?
Probably Donatello is usually the best one in these games because of reach.
Okay.
I prefer Raffaello, but he has like fucking no reach in these games.
He also, so there is a sort of power attack in this one, and Raphael's has the worst. Also, good job, Michelangelo.
Mikey sucks. Who'd have thunk?
Okay, so we have a jump, and it's a 1-button attack.
So what you're saying is dive kick forever.
So we do have a dive kick. Let's see. The thing is, sometimes getting the moves out is kind of a little difficult.
God, the animation is so smooth in this when you're attacking.
Yeah. So if you hold forward and then hit both buttons, you will do this power attack, which does a lot of damage. Also, gotta watch out.
Oh god, yeah, those things. I also like how, this is the only interpretation of the franchise where there's more than purple foot soldiers.
Yeah, the brawlers definitely did that.
because it indicates what their attack is,
Yes.
which is a really good design thing, in my opinion.
Also, one thing that I always found was weird about these games is the score. These are very low scoring games. Because I have 17 points, now 18.
Yeah, the scoring from what I remember is one enemy 1 point. I think bosses give more points, and then every 100 points you get life.
Also, it's seeming like I am dropping frames.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
Okay, so it's not my end.
Good, we're not going crazy, Bear.
Well, I just thought it was my internet.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems like
Also,
it's stabilized.
Possibly funny anecdote. When I was a kid, there was also the NES version of this game, and my cousin basically had this like rumor spread in the neighborhood where if you take too long in this fight, the fire spreads and kills April O'Neil, and then you get a cutscene where the turtles are attending her funeral, and you get a game over screen.
No, that's really good though. I wish that was real.
Okay, so I mean, that is something that you could see, like, the thing that makes that rumor is this whole funeral thing. God damn it. Yes.
I love really elaborate game overs.
Also, was that Rocksteady or Bebop?
That was Rhapsody.
Okay, because
Bebop is the lore.
I was not a Turtles kid growing up.
I was super into Turtles as a kid.
My knowledge of the Turtles revolves entirely to this game's sequel.
Also, you can knock back the manhole cover when it's thrown at you with an attack. And I believe you can also hit the fire hydrant to attack enemies with it.
Yes, you can.
Like it'll just like throw it, yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of like neat stuff in this game. Also, I really like in this game that instead of having health bars for bosses, they just make them glow when they're close to health and just increase how much they're glowing the closer they are to dying.
That was a Konami staple, which is really nice.
It's actually impressive looking. I never like played the arcade version. I only played the NES version, and it's impressive how good the NES version is compared to the arcade.
So the NES version actually has some exclusive stuff in it. There's like, I think 2 more stages.
Oh, I had no idea.
I'm just more impressed like how much animation is actually in this.
Yep.
Yeah, it is very fluid.
Like not even just the attacks, but like when you get knocked over. Like that.
Also,
there's also a I was about to say that.
oh god damn it.
Oh my god!
Also, pizza time. Oh, I don't know if, maybe that's in the sequel.
The best part about the pizza is when you're playing co-op with a friend and there's only one pizza and you're arguing who needs to get it.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, I have less health. Yeah, but you got the last pizza.
Whoop. Let me guess, I have a match. Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder who the boss is gonna be.
Just love that tinny ass audio.
I love 80s sound clips and everything.
Oh. Okay.
Please stop falling.
So one thing that's actually kind of weird about the the normal version of the game where you had the 4 players, you would actually get more lives as you put in more credits. So you can get up to like 99 lives if you credit field enough.
Are these arcade games were pay to win?
I mean, yes, but yeah. But specifically in the sense of it's one of those. It's like Space Harrier in the sense of you put more quarters in, you get more lives.
I mean, wasn't Gauntlet you put in more coins, you have more health?
Yes, now that I think about it, yes. I think I'll probably play until I had one more death.
Yeah. But yeah, this entire series of brawlers, like TMNT brawlers, are really, really good.
This one is a little, I would say, a little bit basic, if anything.
Yeah.
But then again, because this was the first brawler Konami put out. And Konami's a weird style of brawlers. Like, they definitely have a different, little bit of a different design than Capcom did.
I'm honestly digging the sewer theme.
Yeah, the soundtrack, but it's a Konami game, so the soundtracks are going to be great.
True, you're right, but also... Please stop getting eaten by tiny robot dog.
They're rat catchers.
Or those
I think it's like
They're shitty robots.
they're. I can't remember. I know the Serbian name for them because of the Serbian cartoon.
I mean, yeah.
But
I want to say they're mountain.
They're basically machines that are meant to catch rats, and they're made by Baxter Stockman. And then I think Shredder financed him to mass produce them so they would kill Splinter.
Ah, okay. I was gonna say they're mass produced like the Sentinels, but that's a different thing altogether. That's another Konami brawler that we're not gonna be taking a look at until a little later. Also, I do plan on, when doing some of these, that, I mean, naturally, if you're playing this, or playing this, also, I think that's gonna be enough of that. Just so we can make sure that we have enough time for the next game. There we go. But yeah, I'm gonna try and do a couple, at least some of these co-op. I just gotta actually get that set up. Yep. Whoops.
I'd be game for when my internet is fixed.
LCA!
Okay. Let's see. That's fine. Okay. So let's. Yeah, that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oop. Okay. So. Let's see. How would we compare this to, say, I would definitely say this is above Karateka.
Yeah.
And it,
I'd say it's above Double Dragon. I like this one in Double Dragon.
how about above Final Fight?
Oof. I think this is easier to play, so just by virtue of that, I'd feel it like it's less of a hassle to play than Final Fight. But they're both really good games. It's not like it's better; it's just easier to pick up in terms of difficulty and everything.
Yeah, I was actually, when I did my test runs, I'm like, this was before I realized the power attack was a thing. So I was like, man, this game feels really aged. But now that you actually had the power attack, it feels a little bit better.
I probably play it rather than Final Fight, but I also like the TMNT franchise, so.
Yeah, also one thing to remember that this is probably a better co-op game than Final Fight.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Even just with 2 players, and even if you don't do 4, it's still better.
Yeah. So I would. Do you have any disagreement, Corbin?
No, I got none.
Okay. So I would.
You two had it figured out, so I wasn't saying anything.
Just wanted to make sure. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Because like I have no attachment to the franchise, so.
1989. Konami Arcade. Brawler. Let's see. For tone, I'm actually probably gonna put it as happier because it's the Turtles.
Yeah.
which is very depressing because the original comic was like triple
the
X.
original comic was very much a different thing. But yeah, this is very explicitly based on the cartoon.
For people who like TMNT or are interested, there's a feature-length cartoon where one of the newer generation turtles, the old 80s cartoon turtles, and the comic book turtles are in the same universe.
Is that Turtles Forever?
I think that's what it's called. I don't know, but it was really good. It's even if
Never
you don't
forget.
know the franchise.
That TMNT and Daredevil are from the same universe.
Yep.
Also, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Usagi Yojimbo.
Yes. There's even in the cartoon. There's a lot of crossover episodes.
Yep.
Soundtrack you're hovering over B, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds good to me. Solid, but not amazing.
Because so here's the thing that I was thinking about world building. The reason that I gave Super Star Wars a D was because it's using the Star Wars world, but just kind of throws it all together. Like it doesn't you fight the Sarlacc monster. It just kind of throws in a lot of lore without really making sense of it. Whereas this game, I think it actually uses like the world of the cartoon to actually like it makes sense. Like it feels like a episode of the cartoon, not like, oh, let's just throw a bunch of Star Wars stuff together.
Also, don't quote me on this, but I believe, not maybe in this game, but in some games, some of the bosses are originally made for the games.
This one, I believe, is entirely from the source material.
Yeah, but yeah, it uses a lot of the. It looks like one of the big episode arcs in the cartoon because they just even in the actual show they use those mouse catchers or mounters or whatever a lot even after they're first introduced.
Mm-hmm.
So it has pretty good world building or world use.
Yeah. Let's see for craft. I definitely think that it probably there's a lot of detail that went into it. Especially for the time, like Final Fight would just have come out when this game came out. If I didn't look, I think they're both listed as 89 when I looked up the dates, but they would have been in development at the same time. So I think for what it kind of made, I think Konami did a decent job of kind of taking something like Double Dragon and making it a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Impact, I mean, I wouldn't say this is the most defining of the games or the genre, but
it's weird.
Talk about it.
It's weird, yeah, because in terms of brawlers people owned as kids or played, this is kind of along there with Final Fight, but also this has a lot of staying power because of the license.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say it's probably a B.
Yeah, I don't know, because the game itself had no real impact to my knowledge.
Yeah, it was a game that. So the thing with,
any impact was personal. It was not a sort of industry.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I'm more thinking that it for brawlers, especially licensed brawlers. This was one of the first. Considering how many licensed brawlers there were, that's what I'd probably consider at least a B. Where B is mostly it is important to the history of the subgenre, not necessarily history overall. Whereas Final Fight pretty much codified, didn't create it, but it codified the brawler subgenre. Yeah, and then Age. The only thing I'd say about that Aged is that it's pretty simple. It's a one-button brawler, but then again, so was Final Fight. But even then, your attacks seemed a little bit less or more limited even than Final Fight, even though you do have that power attack. So, yeah. So I'd say it's C. And then Touch, same with Final Fight. It's not terribly difficult. It's definitely punishing it sometimes, but it's not. it's not going to force you to start from the beginning, even if you're bad at it. You can still have a decent amount of fun just kind of dicking around, even if you die a lot. So yeah. Yeah, so that'll bring us to our last game, which... this is more, this is more to kind of show off that Final Fight itself had quite a bit of... Like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles felt like a gameplay kind of, not copy, but like, kind of... It's a game that inspired other games in terms of gameplay, but there was definitely a influx of games that felt like, okay, you are dudes who are trying to fight like gangs and all that. And this is probably one of the more famous of them.
I love Dude What Punch thing.
And it's a Sega game. Also, let's turn this music up.
So is this in 2018?
Sure. So this is Streets of Rage. So there's a reason why I turned the volume up. So much so that the game even recognizes that this game has a phenomenal soundtrack.
Yep.
Yeah.
So much so that the composer... Oh, I've not seen this part.
Hobby Bonsai. Sure.
Hobby video games.
So yeah, the composer of this game, Yuzo Koshiro, has his own copyright on the main title screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is a Sega Genesis game.
Fucking Yuzo Koshiro is a goddamn wizard.
Oh god, yes. Let's just take a look at the options. You got sound tech. I'm gonna put it on easy. So yeah, you have kind of like almost like you have a special attack. That's like it's a weird like bomb kind of thing. But we'll see that once we get into the game.
I love that he also did the soundtrack for this Master System Sonic.
Yes. So there's Adam, Axel, and Blaze. Which one should we do?
Just go with...
I'd say I think Adam would probably be...
Yeah.
We don't need speed.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with those powerful pants.
Pine Pot.
Yeah.
So this is more akin, yeah, this is more definitely akin to Final Fight than where you have to get up close to them and you can grab them. And you do have a backwards jump kick if you.
Oh god.
Also, this is definitely a Genesis game.
Now, this is most definitely like a very clear Final Fight clone, but it is such a good one.
Yes. So if once you grab him, if you jump, you'll do that little flip.
I love Breakfast Diner.
But Lolo, what is that S next to your health bar?
Let's wait until we have more than just one character on screen.
I'm glad that there was just an apple in the telephone booth.
Yep. Whoop. This is what our S
Oh,
is for.
It's so stupid.
So, there's this famous GIF of this, not this game, but the sequel called "Only Trust Your Fist, Police Will Never Help You."
Yes.
That is a very subtle joke because in the sequel you no longer have that super because the police force has been corrupt and dismantled, and you don't have any allies in the police force anymore. Because the GIF is from the second game, I think.
The thing is, I can't remember where exactly it came from. Like, what it causes that to show up.
I don't think it actually ever shows up.
Yeah, I think it's an edited GIF.
It's an edit, but it's a very smart edit.
It sounds like something that would have been from iMockery, if you remember that website.
Yeah. Oh god, that guy flew. But yeah, actually, funnily enough, I played this a few months ago on original hardware with a friend, and it's actually really good. It's much easier to get into because I never played that much of Streets of Rage as a kid because I didn't like the frame rate of the movements. It felt a bit choppy, but it's still very easy to play. I mean, you're doing fairly well.
Oh.
God, that move is so good. You just feel the impact of it.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, I didn't mean to throw it. Yeah, this also feels a lot more like sane. Well, maybe not sane's the right word, but a lot more a lot more balanced, I guess, than Final Fight did.
Well, this also isn't a coin muncher, so they're not relying on you dying a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they already got your money.
You could have been renting it though. Oh yes, the remake for PC. The fun thing about the Streets of Rage franchise nowadays.
Yeah, there was a remake that I believe combined the first 3 games into one mega game. And as soon as it got released, it got taken down by Sega. Because it was a fan game, and now the only way to find it is, I believe, torrent sites.
Yeah.
It's really a shame because that was one of those instances where, like, oh, Sega's really good with their fans, except for Streets of Rage where they weren't.
They are good with Sonic fans.
Yeah, Sonic fans and pretty much only Sonic fans.
Maybe I wouldn't even say like Phantasy Star fans because.
Well,
I can't think of. Well, I'd say no, they're not because PSO2 has still not been localized.
It will never
PSO2
be localized.
So what the?
already know Shining Force fans.
We don't talk about Shining Force ever.
Yeah, because this video
Because
might
then we'll
be
get
banned.
taken down.
I'm already probably going to get flagged for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme. I don't need to be flagged for someone mentioning Shining Force on my stuff as well.
Hey, maybe they're gonna do a re-release or something. No, they're just tearing shit down.
They were tearing shit down to optimize search results for their other Shining game.
Is that what the reason for it was?
That was the only reason people could figure out.
It's the only reason that would make sense in any capacity.
Not like, yeah, because it's not like the whole thing where, with that whole Halo thing that came out recently.
Yeah, that Halo thing is a bit more problematic.
Where they're like, hey, we actually kind of like what you're doing, but we can't have this be a thing. What's that one up?
Like, for legal reasons, we cannot just let this go.
No, this was, hey, this technically has nothing to do with Shining Force. It is just, hey, let's, no.
No, I was talking about the Halo thing.
Oh, yeah. The Halo thing, that is very interesting, but also, as it is very...
It's the crossroads of, we like your product, but also we have to maintain our IP, or we might lose it.
I kind of like this game's aesthetic for like the gritty streets more than Final Fight or even Double Dragon. I think it does a bit better.
I like its darker tones.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I do kind of like the character design a little bit of, say, it's like maybe Double Dragon. Well, I think Final Fight had a lot of good character designs.
Final Fight was also mostly meaty men, though.
Yes.
Well, Final Fight also feels more anime, and this feels more like, oh, we really want this on the Western market.
Well, okay, you say that.
Never mind, I take it all back.
You were saying that.
I take it all back. I'm completely wrong. I have no sense of aesthetic.
The
No,
one's
this
animated
is
air in the AM,
I
the other
take
is
back
animated
what I
air in the
said.
PM.
This game is great.
This man is just shitting axes everywhere.
Ow!
Should have picked Axel. Or was it Alex? I don't remember. Was it Axel or Alex?
It's
the name?
Axel Stone, I think. Oh, what is this
Okay.
guy?
So not gonna lie, Axel Stone just sounds like a porn name.
It does.
Is this blonde Wolverine? Wolverine blonde?
It's like, oh, also he has the
Super Saiyan Wolverine.
Oh, well, it actually scrolls all the way back to the previous part of the level. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize that.
Haha!
Oh, also I got another one.
Oh my fucking god.
Was it this game or the sequel that had like 4 different endings?
I know this game at least has 2.
Okay, this has 2. I think like the final game has like 4 endings.
Also, that attack just looks like a glitch. It looks like it looks like I'm trying to tilt shift a Genesis game.
The trail that the guy left when he moved.
Yeah.
But the
That's
after images.
That's the after image is a very arcade thing. I think a lot of brawlers use that as well. It just looks weird on Genesis hardware, or at least in this game.
Finally, we've hit the beach.
There's just a stack of tires.
They're for burning.
Nope. That. Okay.
Part of me wished to just start sending people out for you to bat to the rhythm of music.
Oh, that's just a decoration.
That's what was with brawlers and dominatrixes.
I don't know.
I would
It's
say
like-
the thing.
I have no clue.
Just
All the explanations I have sound bad.
You mean so they'd be more acceptable to hit?
Everyone just watch that video for I Need a Hero with laser whips. It just kind of went with it.
Look, I still have from Double Dragon Neon the phrase "on your knees if you please" burned into my fucking brain. All right.
Oh,
Also, your character looks like he has robot legs.
No, she's got really shiny pants.
I mean, the boots are fairly robotic.
It's called an aesthetic, all right. Just enjoy this tire meat. The burning rubber gave it flavor.
the kind of karate-looking guys kind of just remind me of Kim from King of Fighters. Or maybe it's Fatal Fury. I think maybe it came from.
I can't remember which. Yeah, I know. I just can't remember his original KOF for Fatal Fury. He was originally in Fatal Fury.
That's what I thought, because I think he's in the same game that Geese is from. Well, not he's in a game that Geese is in. That's not King of Fighters. You know, think of that. I kind of wish that this game had a little bit more enemy variety.
Doesn't help that they kind of send enemies at you piecemeal.
Oh,
Get fucked!
oh, good. We're fighting the Ultimate Warrior.
I don't see the problem.
Please don't drive so close to the sea.
I appreciate his dancy legs.
Yes.
He's playing the same. He's fighting you the same way I play Golden Axe, which is just charge and shoulder tackle everything.
Just forever got them dancy legs.
Okay, so I think that's probably a good. Well, let's see what
It's a
this.
pretty good showing of the game.
Okay, so just look at the building. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea of what this game is, because I think there's like 9 stages for this.
It's pretty long.
So yeah, in that case, that's probably a good showing of it.
It's very interesting to look at because it is the first one that we played that's a direct-to-console game.
Yeah.
So you can already see how that impacts some of its design. Like, it's not as ridiculously difficult
Yeah.
for one.
Let's see, streets.
It doesn't seem to have too many cheap shots like a moving platform that you have to balance on with shitty controls.
Oh crap! I didn't see what was it. 91 or 90?
Let me check.
Also, just another point of trivia: when this game came out in Japan, it was referred to as Bare Knuckle.
91.
91. That would have been a lot later because the Genesis would have been out for 2 or 3 years at that point. It seems like it just feels like that just seems like something that would have been a lot closer to launch.
Well, the boxed and bundle title for the Genesis was Altered Beast, from what I remember. So that's how early the Genesis was.
Yeah, in the Western and well, I trust me, I know that the Mega Drive came out in Japan not October 29th, 1988.
Yeah.
I know that off the top of my head because that's the day I was born. But yeah. Well, this is going to be. Well, here. Let's see. How would we place this over, say, Final Fight? I'd take it above.
Yeah.
I take it above, yeah.
What about TMNT?
Yeah, I'd take it above, personally. Once again, I don't have any sort of attachment to the TMNT license, so.
Yeah, I would probably play TMNT more, but
Also, I just completely forgot about something. Would you rather play Final Fight over Castlevania? Because I forgot Castlevania was there. Would any of these 3 games actually would you play above Castlevania?
the first Castlevania.
Yes.
I would rather play both TMNT and Streets of Rage over Castlevania.
Okay,
But that's
so
just me.
Okay, and then where would
I say that as someone who I think raced it, so yeah.
Yeah, so let's see, which is better, TMNT or Streets of Rage? I'm personally thinking Streets of Rage.
Yeah, I
Streets of Rage is
personally feel
better.
Streets of Rage.
Very slightly better. Like 0.01 better.
Or actually, because I keep on forgetting that this is a thing now, will we say that these two Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Streets of Rage are actually the same tier of game?
I'd say so. In my eyes, I love both my children.
Okay, so in that case,
And I don't feel the same, but I'm not gonna fight you on it either.
Isn't that what we're like guessing here so we can fight and stream?
Look, buddy, I am tired as shit, alright? I don't need your sass.
okay, so let's see. So this is gonna be 0.5. So if I did this, then did this, see if this all comes tumbling down. If I do this. Actually, let's see. Before we do that, Streets of Rage OST is getting an A.
Yep.
Surprised you didn't go for an S.
Let's wait. We'll wait a bit before handing out the S's.
Will we retroactively add S's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm doing a thing where I'm only giving one game per 50 ranked an S.
So help me, if I feel the need though, I will jump down your throat for a fucking S. I hope you understand this.
I understand. Also, S's for both World and Craft. But yeah, I figure we might as well wait until we at least get 20 or something. But yes.
Just stacking the deck so you don't need to worry about any S's.
Right. But
yeah, World is like, I'd say B, like not, well, is Craft aesthetic?
Craft is game design.
Oh,
Or overall design, like kind of effort put into it is probably.
I would say maybe like B for World, just because I appreciate the
for World.
goofiness of it all.
yeah. It's very weird because like both that and Final Fight is a B, and I think Streets of Rage is the gritty gang world better.
I would say probably actually in that case, I think that come a little bit down to taste,
Yeah.
personal preferences.
I mean,
No, I
obviously.
can get with them, especially because of its use of its more its darker color palette. Kind of worked better for that sort of, once again, dark gritty kind of feeling.
Yeah, I don't think it would be A quality for world building.
No, I'm
It's
not.
better than average.
It's like B plus if Final Fight is B minus is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I would say Craft is definitely at least a B because they took Final Fight and made it a lot more like streamlined.
Yeah, it is extremely easy to get into and understand, and it doesn't overwhelm you like Final Fight can.
Yeah, but it's still a little. It's as complex as it needs to be, but it could still be. There could be a little bit more variety in it, like things. So I'd say it to be. Impact, I don't think this had quite the. It was just a game that was out there. Like I don't think this directly influenced a lot.
It was mostly known as a Genesis must-own. Like it was basically. I think even at one point there were a lot of bundles where you had like 3 games on a cartridge, and Streets of Rage was almost always on them.
Yeah, I think it was a game that definitely was well known in the Genesis, but I would not say that it's.
I don't know. It's whenever people talk about like old school brawlers, it's definitely one of the ones that's always brought up. But at the same time, I don't think it had any sort of actual influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I'm thinking either B or C, where B is like it's highly influential to the genre as a whole.
I'd say C.
I'd say C.
Yeah.
I'd say C, honestly.
And then age, I would say this aged a lot better than the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd still say its simplicity kind of means I wouldn't say it has aged perfectly, but it's definitely aged better. And then touch, I'd say it's actually there's things that make it a lot easier. So I'd say it's probably a B.
Yep.
So Now that I've done that, let me just go ahead and make sure this is all sorted.
Every time I look at your ranking sheets, I'm just reminded of work.
Yeah, I was just say, tell me about it. That's pretty much all I do as well. And then
And here you are doing it in your off time. What's wrong with you?
yeah,
I mean, I do that as well. Like, my entire stream side mechanics are basically work now.
You did this to yourselves.
eh,
You have no one to blame but you.
This is true.
wait, what? Why did? There we go. Just give it a sec. Wait, what the hell? I think I did something wrong. I did something wrong.
Lolo plays Google Sheets.
Pretty much. You know what? You know what? Just because I need to figure out how this works. Let's just do this. Do.
So when are you gonna design your own game in Google Sheets?
Something's going wrong. Oh, I know exactly what's going wrong. I need to change this to a 3. Because it didn't transfer the things. Also, that's must be 2. Hey, there we go.
Woo!
All right. So there, we are actually starting to have a list that actually the color schemes make sense.
What a beautiful rainbow.
Yes. Except we don't have any Mastercraft games yet.
Yeah, that'll take time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is actually starting to turn out. Seems actually pretty good. Like,
I hate
pretty
it.
good.
It's too small.
I mean, we got to add more. But for what it is right now,
It's not 300 large. What is this bullshit?
we'll get there eventually. Maybe.
So you think?
Yeah.
300 per sheet.
Yeah.
Like you have like how many sheets? Have like got 12 sheets. Yeah. Well, you have like 20 on each sheet. That's already gonna be a fucking lot.
Yeah. Also, considering that these 4 are like longer games, which are basically 1 or 2 games a stream. So yeah. Anyway, I think that is a good look at brawlers, and in the next couple of weeks we'll be looking at more thematic, but definitely a lot of licensed brawlers. If you would like to keep up to date with Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can follow me on Twitter at LoloThePuzzlo, or join my Discord server by going to the URL discord.ldp.life. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stop by again.